Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Follygon, and in this video, I am going to be sculpting Dipper from Gravity Falls. If you are new around here, my name is Ben. I am a professional digital sculptor with a main background working on things like toys and life-size figures. I've worked for a lot of companies like Mattel, Hasbro, and Tomy. Most recently, I've worked on Clash of Clans from Supercell. A lot of fun stuff. If you are completely new to the idea of digital sculpting, however, imagine that this right here in front of me is a ball of digital clay. I have a pen that I manipulate that with on a graphics tablet, which is like a screen that I'm drawing on top of to manipulate my clay. But it's a lot more powerful because it's a computer, so it's not just like a traditional ball of clay. You can duplicate, you can just delete things and erase them from the universe entirely. You can paint on your clay while you're sculpting it. You have undo. You have a lot of really cool, fun things that you wouldn't normally have in the real world. But that is the gist, so hopefully that makes a little bit more sense, and I think it'll start to make more sense as we continue forward sculpting Dipper over here. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Got our nice bean head. Oh, the beginning stages are always so very awkward. Just get those roughly into place. Already looks just like Dipper. Maybe not quite yet. We're getting there, you know, a few brush strokes here and there, and all of a sudden we got ourselves a Dippy boy. Just grab ourselves another sphere and plop it right here in the middle. What's nice about this is you can kind of move it around if you need to. If you want to make the character like look off to the left, to the right, etc. Pretty fun, yeah. I like it. We're missing an ear. Ears are kind of nice to have, aren't they? That looks more just like a squashed sphere to me. Every shape kind of looks like a squashed sphere to me, though. I just use a sphere for every primitive. Why use a cylinder for a neck when you can just use a sphere? I like to use spheres for just about everything. It's about looking past what you have on your canvas. I know he looks really goofy right now. It kind of looks like a Muppet or something, but it will shape up. Just gotta give it some time. Well, that's nice. That's exactly a perfect mirrored copy of this geometry. Hopefully this doesn't crash. I have no idea what's going on there. I'll give that a minute to think on that. We'll come back to that shape later. Get a nice balding older Dipper. Beautiful. Gonna put a temporary mouth in just to help me visualize where that will be roughly. Doesn't need to be anything special. It's mainly just a way to check on proportions, see what things are looking like. Okay, the eyes are definitely going to need to be closer together, which I will handle later. Just trying to bring the face forward closer to the eyes. Dipper, you looking okay, man? You're not looking so hot. Looking like you're on something. It's pretty hard, I think, for new artists to look at something like this and get distracted from, you know, what's going on. There's, you know, it looks so silly, but what I'm actually focused on right now is getting the eyes kind of touching in the middle as close as they can be without overlapping too much. It's very distracting when you have something silly on your canvas, or at least it is when you're new. It's not really something that I even think about anymore, so I'm totally fine with keeping things looking very derpy here for as long as possible, while I focus on more important foundational proportions. Good to get lots of stuff in first, get all your proportions correct. You can't really as I always say, do proportions until, well, you got other things to compare your pieces against. The hat will help me figure out the proportions of the head will help me figure out the proportions of the hat, and they kind of play into each other. Try not to lose that jawline, that rounded shape. I say jawline, but really it's just this, what's called a plane break. Watch my last video. Flowing through this edge, creating a transition from this rounded form for the front kind of ball of the mouth into the back of the head. Rounded shapes, very difficult. Might make a video on why in the future. I explained it a little bit in that face planes video, but something we could talk about more definitely in a future vid. Okay, fix the shape of the head, then come back, add a simple little eye bag, and this will just be a placeholder for now. I will come back and adjust this later on. Dipper has not had any legs long enough, or arms, so we should probably get those in too. Dipper looking like a Neanderthal over here with these arms. Knuckle dragging on the ground almost. With clothing, I never actually give it thickness. Like I won't, well, I shouldn't say never, but I very rarely give it actual thickness. It's very hard to work on things that are paper thin when you are sculpting. In real life and here in digital for many different reasons and technical limitations. So I just kind of fake it. I'll kind of push in just a little bit here underneath the shirt and then work on the outside portion here a little bit, getting that overlapping with his cute little short shorts. Okay, this is about 1 hour in on sculpting Dipper. A lot of that time was spent up on the face for the most part. I've started a little bit more here towards the end of that hour, starting to work on the body, just starting to get all the parts and pieces in there. He is a simple character, but he also has a lot going on. For the clothing, at least, I still need to get the socks on there, the shoes, then I need the hands, obviously some feet as well. And then I need to work on just kind of getting things to look a little bit closer to the character proportionally. Proportions are the first major thing. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it is essentially scaling all of the different parts of Dipper to be correct compared to the other parts. So he doesn't have like this really big nose and a really tiny face or giant eyes or whatever that might exactly be. So just making sure that everything is about the correct scale. So after I get proportions figured out a little bit better, getting all the parts in, then I will start doing things like giving the character an actual mouth. I'll need to work on the face more before doing that, working on the hat, adding in things like the little pine tree, working on the hair, blending all those shapes together, all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the game plan. Moving from here, I'm thinking we'll stop again in another hour, do another quick assessment, and see how much more we have to go. All right, back to it. Whew. Wow. 1 hour. Goes by fast. That is the end of hour 2 on Dipper. From here, just taking a look at what I've got going on, you can see that I've started to add in some geometry for the actual mouth. I've added in all the different parts of the character now. I think maybe the only little thing I'm missing is the pine tree on the hat, and then maybe a couple little tiny details down there for the shoes, laces, and socks. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So from here, it looks like he's maybe feeling a little tall. There are some proportions that still need some tweaking. The arms feel a little thin. There are some changes to the face that I will continue to work on as I move forward. But I am thinking, I'm not positive, but 1 more hour, and I think this guy, we can call him done. We'll see if I can do it in 1 hour. Like I said, not sure. We'll see how it goes. We're pushing into what's called diminishing returns. That is where to make things, better, get to that next level, get to that higher level, it's going to take a lot more time. That last 10% can sometimes take as much time as the 90% of time you spent prior to get to that point, which sounds a little confusing, but it makes sense if you get in and actually sculpt a character. So I think from there, I am actually going to call Dipper here finished for the sculpt. So I am going to set him up for rendering, export him to Blender, and get our render finished up here. All right, well, there is our final Dipper render. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, getting to see the entire sculpting process. If you guys are interested in learning how to render characters like this one here, then check out my Gumroad. There's a link down in the description. I have an awesome rendering tutorial, which is included for free in my course, The Appeal Academy. Appeal.academy is the URL where you can find that and find out some more info about my course and mentorship. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, maybe learned something new along the way. Other than that, click that subscribe button if you are new around here. Maybe click the like button if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't. And yeah, that's all I got here. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.